Hey guys, Lancer here. Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for joining me. Looking to some more MTG market movers and mainly as a quick update. So the last, I think there was an issue with audio for the last video that I put up. Sorry, I was testing out a wireless headset, and by the looks of it, maybe I had either a wireless headset and the computer on, or something, I don't know, something. But I've gone back to my original headset. Let me know in the comments if this works better. What I want to do is, if the previous video was too annoying, truthfully, I haven't seen how annoying, but if it was too annoying, this is meant to be a quick update on the market. One thing out of the way, the reserve list market seems to be quite steady right now. Whether or not that's because people in the reserve list market are predicting a bounce because the Federal Reserve is going to chicken out in this upcoming meeting, I'm not too sure. But this meeting for the Federal Reserve that's kind of coming out today, and I'm going to release this as soon as possible because I don't even know if I'm going to miss it by the time this video comes out. Let me have a quick look. If I go to, so this is a very impromptu video. I just want to make it up. It's been a long day. Okay, so Federal Reserve press conference is at 6:30 p.m. on the 22nd of March 2023, which is my morning 23rd. So I am not going to see any of this. I'm going to be very much asleep. But you guys are probably going to figure out exactly what the market thinks this meeting, and if the market is super confused, we'll at least clearly know what it thinks in 2 weeks' time when the Federal Reserve minutes come out. The minutes go into more details on how many Federal Reserve members were thinking for a higher rate, a lower rate. This time, Jerome Powell will just come out and say, we're going to raise by 25 basis points, and we think the market's strong enough to withstand everything that we're throwing at it. And the market will take a dump immediately after that. If Jerome Powell comes out and says we're going to increase by 25 basis points, but this will be the time to pause. We are unsure on how strong the banking system is, and we will continuously watch and update our forecast based on that, including making future cuts if needed. The market will go to the moon. If they come out with 50 basis points and have Jerome Powell comes out riding on the back of Eagle with Trump as his horse pulling him, and he literally has two fingers, middle fingers out to everyone, and raises everything by 50 basis points, then the economy will fall over. If he makes a rate cut, there's actually a high chance that the market will fall over, because if the Federal Reserve makes such a drastic decision, like raising by 50 basis points when 89% of the market thinks they're going to do 25, and or lowering or even pausing this meeting, there's a chance that the market might actually think of that as a very bearish sign, because something has clearly spooked the Federal Reserve. And even if they're not telling anyone, they know something that the market doesn't, and the market doesn't like that. So just as an overall kind of a thing, yes, I think this is going to be an important day, especially after all the banking issues. And it's going to make a decision on collectibles. It really will, because the collectible market is very hooked into the rest of this. We can clearly see that the revised edition cards as an overall has flatlined for a very long time now, almost 3 months, where they've barely done nothing at all. And right now it went from 5,795 to almost 6,000. Okay, I'm getting spammed by messages. Okay, so yeah, we've got a long move to come up. It's either going to drop back down to the 4,000s, or it's going to spike back up to the 8,000s. And this month may be an important one no matter what. So moving into what has moved for the day, just as a quick close up. Like I said, this is going to be a very quick update. What's been happening. Just want to give everyone an update on the mic situation. Try to get more into a pattern with this. It's really hard because not many people are that interested in the reserve list cards anymore. They're not interested in Magic anymore. My friends have stopped really playing too much. I mean, we certainly stopped buying cards for a long time now, especially ones directly from Wizard of the Coast new set releases. And yeah, we just don't want much to do with Hasbro because they are completely insane and are destroying the game that they could have just been using to print money on instead. Anyway, so weekly changes. Linvala, Keeper of Silence, moved up by 10% and now sit at $20. Conjurer's Closet moved up by 20% and now sit at $9.77. Everything else is below 10%. Archive, Trap, Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn, nothing too crazy. Biggest drops, Goryo's Vengeance, a negative 9% drop for sitting at $26.99. And negative 6% drop for Skithiryx, the Blood Dragon. I got two of those, but I paid a lot less than $42. But it's a very powerful card, and now that Poison's back in, it's going to obviously see some bumps. So moving on to Pioneer, we got a bunch more movement. Got Narset's Reversal, 13% gain to Narset at $9. Pretty crazy. Traverse the Ulvenwald, 26% gain to Narset at $3.58. And Eerie Ultimatum, a 14% gain to Narset at $5.70. Sure. Mutavault, 16% drop to Narset at $14.99. Lyra Dawnbringer, a 15% drop to Narset at $5. I mean, really, there's nothing too crazy going on here. Moving back to the markets, what are we seeing? The big stuff, S&P 500 is now above its downward moving white line. Truthfully, the original pattern I drew, this one here, it didn't follow through with that well, because it obviously went up, took a dump at the 20-day moving average, I think. So the red one is the 50, the orange one is the 7 or 9, and the blue one is the 20, and the purple one is the 200. So at the 20-day, it took a bit of a dump and fell by a decent amount. How much did it fall by? It fell by 6%, actually quite reasonable. In fact, this entire fall is 8.8%, so actually a reasonable fall. But ever since then, the S&P 500 has moved up pretty aggressively, I will say, and now it's hitting its resistance and the, 50-day moving average. Actually an important resistance, but you can see on the MACD, it's turning up. On the RSI, it's moving up, it's above its 50. Yep, it's above the 50. So there's a lot of positives going on for the S&P 500, as far as I can tell. Now, it's actually made a green impression. That's hard to reverse instantly. So we're going to have to see if the market is right in thinking that the Federal Reserve is going to come out and say something bullish for the markets. If that's the case, guess what's going to happen to gold? Chances are, if it breaks 1984, oh my God, if it breaks 1986, 88, 84, 90, I mean, any of these, if it breaks above this blue line goes back many, many years, almost to 2018, I think, is when this blue line existed. Back when gold was $1,153, 2018. Crazy time. So if it breaks above this, guess what? More potential. But it's also heavily overbought. Bitcoin, heavily overbought. Yeah, pretty much. There's not much more to say. Heavily overbought. The VIX is moving up, so the S&P 500 and the futures must have been going down a bit. US 10-year, interesting. Okay, so the US 10-year could not stay below the 200-day moving average. Damn, that means that we're about to have some more inflation. Somehow, something is going to provide more inflation, because unless this falls below the 200-day moving average, it has nowhere to go but up. And it's turning up on the MACD. And the higher the US 10-year yield goes, the higher the interest rates the Federal Reserve have to increase go. So the S&P 500 and the US 10-year are contradicting each other quite a bit, actually. AUD, USD, the Australian dollar looks like it's trying to pick up some strength, but really it's below a lot of its key resistances, so I'm not really putting too much effort into that. Australia's index, yeah, it has to turn up. It's fallen by a lot, and I mean a lot. It fell by 8.5%, top to bottom, and dropped below some key levels. It is now holding its breath above the 200-day moving average. Silver looks pretty good, but has to give up some of its gains just because it's so overbought. Copper looks pretty good, actually about to pop. Copper's about to pop, and I'm not too sure why. It's all contradicting each other a bit. So hopefully today clears it up, at least in some bit. Do we care about much more? Those are the big ones. ARC, that's the red one. Sorry. Tesla, nah, not too fast about it. Where's the Canada, AUD in Canada? No, USD in Canada. So USD in Canada, looks like Canadian dollar is about to get stronger. I think this is the way I read it. The US dollar is losing strength against the Canadian dollar, but it was very strong recently. So if it gives up some of this gains, it'll be actually good. Otherwise, the US dollar is going to continue to retrace in Canada, and we'll have to see how that goes. US dollar, this is a big one. Let's have a look. It is below the 50, below the 200, below the 9, below the 50, 20. It is hitting some resistance just because there are other points in time where this acted like a resistance. This level right here, 103. There's a chance that it could bump up from here and then be a short-term turn and then fall again. We're going to have to see because the play is between hyperinflation and deflation, and no one is 100% concerned. I mean, no one can confirm exactly what's going to happen. It's really interesting. Anyways, guys, I'm going to call it at that because I want to release this before the Federal Reserve meeting, and you guys can let me know what you think came out of it and or if it's going to impact the market because the Federal Reserve comes out like a chicken. Yeah, if you have spare money or spare cash, you probably want to put it in something because inflation is going to eat it away. If the Federal Reserve comes up super hawkish, then maybe put some more money into saving because interest rates are going to go up. And at some point, that's going to help balance out the books. Anyways, guys, hopefully the audio is better for this one. Thanks again, and see you guys next time.